Hello, good evening. This is our CSI 31 or 2 Introduction to Object-Oriented Programming project. The group consists of my fellow colleague, Mr. Omateo Holder, and myself, Derek Bob. This game was a result of the combined ideas of my group member and I. At its core, it is a game where you try to figure out or guess, hence part of the name, a scrambled word. The name of the game is GuessPop 4. When the idea of this game came about, it was decided that we needed roughly 4 classes, but after further discussion, it was concluded that we would need at least 6 classes. However, upon designing the game, 7 classes were used. As you can see, these 7 classes opened at the top here. These classes namely were the game UI or GuessPop UI here, a class for the engine called Game Engine here, a class for the words and manipulation of said words called the Word Library here, and a class for the songs that the game would make called Game Songs here, a class for animations called Game Animations. In specific, it would be the animation of a balloon, so this is called balloon animation. And finally, the main class, which calls the UI, and everything begins from there. These classes work together in cohesion to produce the game that has been made. Firstly, in order of what we deemed as important, we have the word library. This was the second class created, second to main. It consists of 2 functioning methods. The first method takes a string from an array of stored strings. This is the array list, of stored strings. And the second method, what it does, it takes that word, random word from the array list that is returned, and rearranges its letters using the Fisher-Yates shuffle, and that produces the anagram. Secondly, the game interface or the game user interface class was created. This class displayed all the content to the user and triggers actions performed by the buttons displayed to the user. This is the UI here. The game engine class is instantiated in this class, as we can see right here, and then we call a new engine right here. Also, the balloon animation class is instantiated here. Thirdly, the game engine was created, that is here. This class deals with all the logic of the game, what to do and how to do it. The word library, timer, and game song classes are all instantiated here. As you can see, the word library, timer, and the game song classes. And they are instantiated here with the new keyword, word library, timer, and game sound. Fourthly, the game animations class, or the balloon animation, was created. This is where the animation took place. This panel was added to the user interface. Now, we know, and it is known, that a better code of practice, however, would have been to create the panel in the game user interface and only use the class for the animation itself by making it a subclass of the user interface class. However, the animations class extended the JPanel class, which contained vital methods such as the add notify. Where is it? It's right here. The add notify, and the paint component methods. These were essential in using the thread type of animation used in the game. Thread type animations were chosen since they have much smoother transitioning between painting and repainting the images to the panel. Fifthly, the game timer class was created. This class was used, as it rightly states, to create and display the time to the user, how many seconds the user had remaining to enter a word. However, due to some errors, this class was not used. The animation class was used in its place. The sound class that is right here was then created to play the game songs for a correct yes and an incorrect yes. A suitable music song also um, was going to be played from this class for during the course of the game, a kind of upbeat kind of tutuk kind of tune, but we didn't get around at creating one as we had planned, so and we didn't find anyone online either, so no sound to was added to the game for the gameplay itself. Sound, however, was used when a word was correct or when a word was incorrect. Finally, the main class, which initially we mentioned is the first class that we created, that is here, uh, was used to call the game user interface, which made all the necessary calls for the game to be playable. Now, during the writing and the coding, various obstacles were met, but most of them were resolved, the majority. For example, the classes were not interacting with each other as they were supposed to, but this was simply fixed by instantiating them. That was a mistake on the behalf of uh, us the group members. Simple instantiating the classes fix that problem. Simply instantiating the class fix that problem. And in the initial idea of reading the words, from a text file was not used since it was returning a lot of errors. So instead, an array list, as mentioned earlier, of words was used. The timer class still has a bug where the previous time does not stop before the next time begins. Hence, a previous countdown was still visible after another countdown was called. Due to this, the timer's class was not used because of its inefficiency. The balloon animation, however, was used instead to indicate to the user when their time was up or how many seconds they had remaining. The balloon, fourthly, the balloon was not floating up upon entry of a correct word. That was what initially was planned. So the logic of the game had to be tinkered just a bit. So now the user has a set amount of time to enter as much words as they can, which kind of tested their typing speed and their ability to, unscramble each one of the anagrams. Finally, the game was not displaying a score, although the score was totaled, and after some debugging, it was discovered that it was a result of calling this score function from the game engine within the balloon animations class. Yes, right here. So uh, we used x and y coordinates to determine, when the balloon would leave the screen or when it would remain on the screen. And when the y coordinate is equal to 260, we display a pop image for a few seconds. We use the sleep method in the thread class to sleep it for point two. I think that's about 1/5 of a second, and then we displayed no image, so that a popping kind of animation would be there. And From then, it was supposed to call the function in the game engine which tallied the amount the score, sorry, for the user. So as each word is entered, right, the firstly, sorry, a variable, an instant variable is created called floating points as part of the class, and every time the user got a new word, the uh, sum of 1 was added to the floating point. So the floating point will be updated each time. So floating points will be equal to floating point plus sum, which is 1. Yes, it started 0, 1 was added, they got one word correct. And then the floating point now has 1 stored as its variable. Then you get a next word correct, it updates to 2, you get a next word correct, it updates to 3, you get a next word correct, it updates to 4, and so on and so forth. However, this did not work. A system that print was implemented to print the score of the user in the output at the bottom of the NetBeans. A solution to this problem is still yet to be found, but we're working hard to try and fix it. So let's give you a run of the game. Yeah, so this is displayed from within the game UI class. It's right above here, right here, right where the option is created. So that option is created, and it it creates that option that we see. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? The option we just saw. Yeah, there is it. And you click chicken out or quit, and the game quits. But if you were to run the program and click go, it states there that you have 20 seconds on the clock. That's the time it would take for the balloon to hit the fire. You click go, the game begins, and you start typing. Let me take the earphones. You start typing, so you type STAR, you click enter, the song is made. You type something incorrect, that song is made, and the balloon pops. But as said before, the floating points are not displayed. But you see right here, the score was being tallied. Let me try and see if I can get a few more words in so you can see the score being added. Let's go. So this is tide, this is feel, this is club, this is rate, oh, not sure, but you get the gist of it. You can see right here I got 3 words correct, so the score was updated as it should be to 3, but it just was not displayed in this JDialog. So that for the most part is our game. It's basically a game where you try to figure out the words as quickly as possible before the balloon gets close to the fire and the heat pops the balloon. Once the balloon is popped, that's it. The game is over. So that's it for our game. We would like to, myself and my fellow colleague would like to thank everyone that aided us in the production of this game. We all know that programming is really difficult, uh, and we would also like to thank God, the Almighty God. I mean, because sometimes when you have no errors and you see your logic looks correct, and you know you start pulling out your hair, you need some prayers, and you need to pray to God, to for some help and some guidance, for some patience to go through with this code. But the reward is truly great when you finally get it to work. That feeling is like none other. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. Bye.